Hello. Today I want to talk about bloating. Bloating is not fun, but it's something a lot of people experience, and it's something that I have been dealing with a lot more than normal lately, which I'll talk about in a second, but that's why I wanted to sit down, make a video with my top tips to help prevent bloating. First, huge thank you to Seed for sponsoring this video. I've been using their probiotic for a little over a year now. Absolutely love it, so I'm super stoked to be working with them. More on that later. First, let's talk about what bloating actually is. When you eat food, it goes down your esophagus, into your stomach, starts getting taken apart there, makes it into your intestines. This is where the little bacteria come and munch on it, breaking it down further, helping your body absorb all of those key nutrients. But there are various factors that we're gonna talk about later that can affect how these bacteria are able to digest this food. And sometimes when the food is a food that causes you bloating, these bacteria produce excess gas. Food in your intestines also needs water to help push it out. So bloating occurs when you have excess gas and water. If you've been bloated, you know the feeling where it's hard, not super squishy, but you know the feeling of being bloated if you've been bloated. And bloating sucks. It's uncomfortable, you feel sluggish, you feel lethargic. It can be downright painful sometimes if you're super bloated. One important thing that I want to highlight though is that while bloating is super common, it is not normal. Bloating is a sign that something is off. Whether it's just because you ate dairy and you're lactose intolerant, or maybe you have IBS or SIBO and that's causing bloating, it's a sign that something's not quite right. If everything is functioning perfectly optimally, you should not be getting bloated. I've recently been getting a lot more bloated lately because, as I've told you guys, I'm working with a nutrition coach towards some aesthetic goals. She has upped my carbs way more than I've ever been eating before. My digestion is just simply not used to that, and it's taking a while for my gut to get used to increased carb intake, so I'm just been a little bit more bloated than normal. I've also somehow managed to get glutened twice in the last 2 months. So as someone with celiac disease, that has definitely messed with my gut and just made things not optimal. So that has kind of slowed the process of adapting to the higher carb intake. I haven't gotten gluten in years. I don't know how it happened twice. So 2 super important things to note. If everything makes you bloated, or you've tried everything and you're still getting bloated all the time, highly recommend seeing a health practitioner, getting some lab work done. You may need a more intensive healing protocol to fix some gut issues that you may have. Some of these things might be having IBS, IBD, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, other various functional gastrointestinal disorders. Sometimes hormone imbalances can lead to bloating and digestive issues. So if you're trying everything, see someone. Second super important thing that I want to mention before I get into my tips is that bloating is not fat gain. Bloating does not mean you're ruining your progress. Bloating is just temporary excess water retention. That's why your weight increases. It's not that you're gaining a ton of fat in your abdomen, it's just that you're storing more water than normal. So if you eat a meal, get super bloated, look at yourself in the mirror and think, oh my god, I've ruined everything. I've had a couple slices of pizza and now I've put on 10 pounds. Take a breath. You're okay. Bloating is not permanent, and as long as you're not regularly consuming things that are causing you to bloat, which ultimately would probably negatively impact your gut health and then make fat loss a little bit harder, as long as you're not doing that, you're gonna be totally okay. I see so many people who will go have a treat meal, get super bloated, and then get super down on themselves about how they look and feel afterwards, and it's yeah, it sucks that you feel that way after eating those foods. That's also something to consider before you eat those foods, but it's not ruining fat loss progress. And I say this for you guys, but also honestly for me, because in these last couple months, since I have been having more bloating, there have definitely been times when I've looked in the mirror and gone, what the heck is happening to my body? Wow, I must have just gained 5 pounds. What's going on? I look horrible, blah, 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 blah. And then a couple hours later, I'll be oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh my god, I need to lay down. And I'm oh, I'm just really bloated. Then 12 hours later, I'm back to normal and it's all good. So with that said, give this video a thumbs up if you are excited for my top tips on reducing bloating. Hit that subscribe button for more videos about health and fitness, and let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to try taking a probiotic. The underlying cause of a lot of bloating is just an imbalance in bacteria in the gut. Probiotics work to improve your gut environment and gut microbiome by interacting with your immune system and the existing good bacteria in the gut. So in this way, probiotics can improve your gut environment and thus help reduce symptoms of bloating. Now, there's still a lot of research to be done on the gut microbiome. It is expansive and fascinating. But what we do know is that there are many different types of bacteria that reside in the gut, and it's the number and type of bacteria that can influence whether or not you bloat. And there are fortunately several clinical studies to suggest that the consumption of certain probiotics can indeed help improve digestive symptoms and reduce gas and bloating. But not all probiotics are created equal. There is huge capitalization on, it's almost become a marketing term. I mean, it's not, it's like a scientific definition, but like people are just slapping probiotic on like everything now and calling it healthy. But there are vast differences between different types of probiotics that you can consume. If you're looking to try a good quality probiotic, I highly recommend Seed Daily Synbiotic, which I've literally just been keeping on my desk lately because I want to make sure I'm taking it regularly because it is magical. This Daily Synbiotic is a 24 strain broad spectrum probiotic and prebiotic, hence why it's called synbiotic, because probiotics and prebiotics work together synergistically. One of the biggest reasons I decided to go with Seed for my probiotic is that a lot of probiotics are not designed to be able to survive the acidity of the stomach. Like a lot of the probiotics that you see that need to be refrigerated in order to stay effective, they need to be refrigerated. Are they really gonna survive your stomach acid? Seed uses a capsule-in-capsule design. You probably can't see that. There's an outer capsule, which is the prebiotic, and then a capsule inside that contains the probiotic. This protects the probiotic from stomach acids, digestive enzymes, bile salts, all the things that would otherwise prevent the probiotic from getting all the way through your intestine. As a probiotic, Seed supports healthy digestive regularity and gut motility and eases bloating, which is why I have been using it. But supporting your gut supports your overall health, so it can help with things like immunity, heart health, clear skin. As you guys know, I am personally so invested in my gut health and my overall systemic health, and I research the heck out of all supplements that I get. And after researching the heck out of Seed and taking it regularly, I can confidently say that this is the best on the market and has definitely changed my life. So highly recommend. If you want to get 15% off your first month's supply of Seed's Daily Synbiotic, you can use the code FITAndNerdy at checkout. I will leave a link down in the description box below. Tip number 2 is to consider trying adding in a digestive enzyme. Your body produces its own natural digestive enzymes in your mouth, in your stomach, in your small intestine, etc. And digestive enzymes help break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fat as they go through the digestive system. And this is a necessary process for your body to be able to break down and absorb all of the nutrients that you're eating so that your body can function optimally. But if your body doesn't make enough digestive enzymes, this is where you can start getting digestive issues like bloating and other negative digestive symptoms. This is where adding in a digestive enzyme supplement could potentially be beneficial. Digestive enzyme supplements simply mimic the endogenous digestive enzymes that your body naturally produces. This isn't going to be a cure-all because not everyone needs to supplement with digestive enzymes, but it could be a cure-some, because some people need help with digestive enzymes. But if you don't want to take a supplement, there are a ton of foods that naturally contain enzymes that help with digestion as well. So you can incorporate more of those into your diet too. Tip number 3 is a big one and one that can make a huge difference. Honestly, something that I recommend everyone do, even if you're not dealing specifically with bloating, and that's to avoid food intolerances. If you are intolerant to something and your body is reacting negatively to it, that is your body telling you, hey, we don't like this very much. Can you please stop? Common food intolerances or foods that can specifically lead to bloating include dairy, gluten, sugar alcohols, cruciferous vegetables, alcohol, beans and legumes, and caffeine, among other things. If you're getting bloated all the time or dealing with just regular digestive issues, one of the best things that I think you can do is try an elimination diet. This is where you just eliminate a specific group of foods for a certain period of time, see how your body reacts, and determine whether or not you're intolerant to one of those foods. So some of the like staple elimination diets to try are just going paleo or trying low FODMAP. Oftentimes that helps with people that are dealing more specifically with bloating. In more extreme cases, if you have just like a ton of other issues, something like AIP or the carnivore diet may be helpful, but again, that's extreme and I don't really recommend that to everyone. And as a note, blood tests that tell you what foods you're intolerant to aren't super accurate. They can be a good place to start if you just have no idea, but do not take their word as gospel. There's a lot of false positives and false negatives on those tests. An elimination diet is the gold standard way of determining what foods you might be intolerant to. So if this is new to you, just quickly, the elimination diet protocol. Pick the specific foods that you're cutting out, whether you're going paleo, so you're cutting out grains, dairy, soy, whatever. Eliminate those things for 30 days or until your symptoms disappear. So if it's been 30 days and your symptoms have greatly reduced, but you're still experiencing some symptoms, whatever your symptoms may be, then just continue on with the elimination diet. Keep those things out of your diet for a while. If it's been 6 weeks and you've noticed no change in symptoms whatsoever, you may need to try a different elimination diet by eliminating just a different group of foods. So if you started with paleo, that's when you might want to just switch to low FODMAP. Once it's been 30 days and or all of your symptoms have disappeared, this is when it's time to reintroduce foods. You want to do this one by one. Don't add everything back in at once, or else you're not going to have any idea what's causing the issues. So you could start with dairy, for example. Have 2 to 3 servings of it throughout the day on day 1. Wait 2 more days after that, so 3 total days to see if you have any reaction to it. If no reaction, you're good to go. You can add it back in. If you do have any sort of reaction, then you may be intolerant to it and you may want to just leave it out of your diet. My next tip is just to try to be consistent with your diet, particularly with fiber. If you go from like 2 grams of fiber a day to 45 grams of fiber a day and you keep going back and forth, that's just gonna be a digestive nightmare. Also, just generally, changes in your diet affect your gut flora. And if you're constantly changing your diet, that means your gut flora is gonna constantly not be optimized for what you're consuming, which is going to lead to digestive issues. If you're more consistent, your gut flora is going to adapt to your diet and it's gonna be able to process through food a lot better. And both acute and long-term changes can affect the microbiome. So if you wanna make a shift, make sure you are giving your body time to adapt before determining that that shift is not right for you. Also, consistency in water intake and just generally getting enough water is super important. If you're dehydrated, your body is going to store extra water and this can lead to bloating. Also, staying hydrated just speeds up digestion, which reduces your risk of bloating. My next tip is to just focus your diet on whole unprocessed foods. Obviously, there are some whole healthy foods that can lead to bloating in some people, but some of the most common bloat-inducing foods are more processed foods. Processed foods contain all sorts of things like artificial sweeteners, sugar, alcohols, gums, lecithins, all of which can cause bloating in a lot of people. Also, they tend to be a lot higher in sodium. Now, salt is not inherently bad for you, but if you're consuming a ton of sodium, your body is going to need a ton more water to help dilute it and maintain the balance of electrolytes. So excess sodium can lead to water retention and bloating. Also, just think of how you normally feel after you eat like a pizza or a bunch of fries or something. Usually you feel kind of bloated. So if you're trying to not get bloated, don't eat all the things that make you bloat. And a lot of the times those are more processed foods. My next big tip is incorporating regular exercise. Physical activity helps increase blood flow to the muscles in the digestive tract, which massage the food along. This is a process called peristalsis. And more blood flow just means the muscles can work more quickly and efficiently. Vigorous activity can also help you sweat more. So if you're storing excess water, which is contributing to bloating, it'll help you sweat it out. And regular activity boosts the health of your gut microbiome. So if you have an imbalance in gut bacteria, regular exercise is gonna help counteract that. There's a 2008 study published in the Journal of Gastrointestinal and Liver Diseases that looked at how fast gastric emptying, aka like how fast food moves through you, happens after a meal with a light walk on the treadmill post-meal. And they did indeed find that light walking helped increase the speed of gastric emptying, which just means digestion is going to go faster, which is going to help prevent bloating. A 2006 study published in the Journal of Pain Research and Management took 25 teens that had digestive distress and looked at how a regular yoga practice impacted their pain and digestive issues. Researchers found that participants experienced decrease in symptoms and pain with just 10 minutes of daily yoga practice. Tip number 7? I think we're on 7, I don't know, is to add in breath work and meditation. The brain and the gut are connected and are constantly in communication. In fact, the gut has been called the second brain. The gut is controlled in part by the central nervous system, and the central nervous system can be in 2 states, the sympathetic state and the parasympathetic state. The sympathetic state is the fight or flight state. When you are in a high stress environment or you just have chronic stress going on, your body's living in this sympathetic state, which is where your body's ready to just go. It's ready to run, it's ready to fight, it has elevated cortisol. It's not the place that you want to live. It's helpful when you're trying to run away from a tiger, because the tiger's gonna kill you. It's not so helpful when you're living in that state. The parasympathetic state is the rest and digest state. This is where your body digest food the best. It's also the state that you need to be in for optimal muscle repair and workout recovery. If you're trying to lose fat, you want to spend a good amount of time in your parasympathetic state. But for bloating specifically, this is where you really want to be. And the thing about the sympathetic state is that when you are in this heightened state, blood is shuttled away from your digestive system because your body's preparing for you to run. And if you need to run or fight, your digestive system doesn't need to be working properly for that. Everything else needs to be working a lot better. So you literally cannot digest food as well if you're in the sympathetic state. Shifting into the parasympathetic state helps blood flow back into the digestive system and boosts your digestive effectiveness. Diaphragmatic breathing and meditation practice is a great way to shift your body back into the parasympathetic state to help improve your digestion and decrease bloating. One of my favorite protocols to recommend for this is just a very simple box breathing practice. Box breathing is where you inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and hold for a count of 4. And you want to couple this with diaphragmatic breathing. And this is where you're inhaling into your diaphragm or your belly as opposed to just in your chest. So as you inhale, what I like to do is put a hand on my chest, a hand on my belly, focus on inhaling into this space first so you feel this hand expand first, and then your chest can fill. And then as you exhale, exhale from your chest first and then from your diaphragm. So it's kind of like a little wave. So try one circuit with me really quick. Ready? Put your hands here. You ready? Okay. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Doing that for literally like a minute and a half is so powerful in shifting your body back into a parasympathetic state. So if you start to feel stressed, or if you know that you deal with chronic stress, doing this regularly will massively improve your digestion. My next tip should not be surprising to you if you know all about the 4 pillars of health, because we've already gone through nutrition, exercise, and stress. Last tip is sleep. Sleep is so critical for digestion. Lack of sleep affects our body negatively in so many ways. One of these ways that leads to bloating is that when we don't get enough sleep, our body has elevated cortisol. This is our stress hormone, which I just talked about. If you're constantly stressed, you're going to have more digestive issues. Sleep deprivation also makes you more prone to inflammation, and inflammation, particularly in your gut, is going to disrupt your digestion. Sleep deprivation also makes you crave sugary foods. As we talked about, sugary processed foods tend to lead to more bloating. When you're asleep, your digestive system continues to work, but this is also when it rebuilds and repairs any tissues that need some help being repaired. So if you have any digestive issues that are being caused by issues in your gut lining, like for example, if you have celiac disease, your gut lining is probably pretty destroyed if you've been eating gluten this whole time. Hopefully you've cut out gluten, but sleep is when your body is going to help repair the lining of your gut so that you can stop being bloated and uncomfortable all the time, and also fix like so many other things. So those are my personal favorite top tips to help with bloating. If you have any more tips, please leave them down in the comments below. I could use them. I'm sure everyone else could use them. Let's all just help each other out. Eat the bloat, if you will. Make sure you check out Seed Daily Symbiotic, link down in the description box below, 15% off with the code FitAndNerdy. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more videos from me all about health and fitness, you can check them out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I will see you very soon. Bye!